Being an entrepreneur, you can experience the highest of highs and the lowest of lows all within the same day. All you can do is laugh in these situations.
Morning. So we're 2 days away from the Bulk Freight Conference down in Branson, Missouri. It's Monday. I'll head down there on Wednesday. So what are these professional conferences? And why the hell should you go to one? You know, the point of going to them is to network with both customers, but also other fleets to kind of learn what they're doing, what you can do in-house to be more profitable. This year I'll be on a panel on how to operate a trucking company lean, cut some costs, maintain profitability in a down market. And I'll be on that panel with Dan Redding, who runs Redding Transportation, who I talk to on a regular basis. We share ideas back and forth. Ben from Skyview, who we don't talk as much, but we do occasionally text back and forth. And another guy who I don't know, but hopefully will know. So we'll be able to share what we're doing to help maintain profitability, but then also hear what other people are doing. So for the Bulk Freight Conference that's coming up, I'll look at the agenda, and I think this year it looks like everything's in the same room, so I don't really have to pick and choose, which is good. There's certain ones that I definitely know I want to be there to witness and listen to, so I'll ensure that I'm there for those. But more importantly, I will go through the app, because they send an app, and it has all the attendees. And I'll make my list of people that I know I want to talk to. Usually these are potential customers that I want to talk to grow the business. Depending on who they represent, I can kind of deduce what they haul and where their network is. So that way I know, hey, I should talk to these guys or gals to let them know who I am and what I can do. That's what I'm doing right now in the office. I've got 2 new guys starting today that I'm going to train in. We usually do a day and a half of training. These guys will be on kind of dedicated rounds. They don't need every trailer in depth, but we will try to go through how to hook up every trailer and how to operate it. This afternoon or tomorrow I'll pack for this conference. Everything's a little crazy around here, so I didn't want to take off too much time, so I will actually leave Wednesday morning. It's 9 hours down there. So right now I'm going through the list, figuring out what companies I want to talk to, writing them down. But I want to make sure that if there's anybody there that's on this attendance list that I know that I potentially want to grow business with, I want to make sure I have their name, who they're working for, and what I want to talk to them about, so that when I do go up, I know, hey, I need to talk to this guy about this type of freight in this area. That way you're not just like, I run a trucking company. But instead you can be like, hey, I run a trucking company, about 40 trucks. We cover the areas you do with these types of products. We work for some of your other customers that are similar to you. We'd really like to work together. What can we offer you for coverage that you are having problems with currently? I'll kind of document this whole process, the trip down and everything, and try to put it all together and kind of show what it's all about.
Well, it's 3:18 in the morning. We've got 9.5 hours to get down to Branson, Missouri to the BulkLoads Conference. We're going to hammer down, see if we can get there in less than 9.5 hours and in time to take a nap. Because I normally get up at 1 a.m. and I'm in bed by 6. And I'm going to have to stay up till like midnight tonight to do social things. So, got to get there in time to go to bed and then get up again. Overall, good first day. I did take a look at my list of people that I had made that I need to talk to. I did find a couple of them, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow to actually, try to do the business portion. Tonight was just, have fun, hang out. There is like an after party, I guess, where people stay up late. That ain't me. I got up at 1 a.m. I'm ready for bed. So tomorrow will be the full day of the conference. All the talkers, speakers, including me at some point, I guess. I should probably read those notes and figure out what I'm supposed to do. But see you tomorrow.
Well, good morning. It's the start of day 2. We're going to go down. We're going to have some breakfast. Usually the breakfast is pretty legit. Kind of get our setup for where I'm going to be based out of for the day. We'll have to tactically choose that. Figure out who I want to sit next to. I have a lot of fun talking with the other trucking company owners and BSing with them. So I'll probably find somebody like that to sit next to. I'll be on the stage at 2 to talk about running an operation lean when, there's a downturn in the market. They sent me notes for it. I should probably read those. Or we can just make it up. I'm pretty good at making stuff up. And I've got my list of people that I have identified, researched, and know I want to talk to. So today's the day to go find them, have their conversations. I do little handouts, little brochures, there's all of our information, what we do, coverage areas, all the contact information. So I like to hand those out as well. But today, with everybody being kind of based at a table and having their own area and everybody kind of having bags with them, today's the day to hand that out because now they have somewhere to put it. Let's go have some breakfast, do some sales, get some business. What's that? Oh yeah, no. Not on the fire department anymore, so I have to grow a beard again.
If there's a downturn in the talking, Rob will pick it up.
Oh, I already have a pretty clutch Ozempic line, so about being lean. I got you.
The owner of Grover Farm Trucking and Grover Family Farms. With his wife Kate, they've grown from 12 to 40 trucks in 5 years. They work directly with customers to expand their business. Please welcome to the stage Dan Redding, Rob Grover, and Ben Riverton, along with Larry Hurt.
So constant vigilance on your numbers and manage the little things and be intentional and don't compromise. This is the way we're going to do it. This is the way we have to do it, and then hold people to the standard.
Awesome, I love that. Yeah, so just to wrap it all up, visibility to cost is a huge one, right? I think we all agreed up here at some point you have to understand where the money is going, and you got to be intentional about moving it to the right spot at the right time. Discipline, Dan, I love that. Ben, I love the return on relationship, and I love the Ozempic joke, Rob. So.
I told you I'd tie it all back in, didn't I?
You did great.
All right, we're on our way home. I don't know why I said we. Me, Lonely Rob, is on his way home from the BulkLoads 2026 conference down here in Branson, Missouri. Got about a 9-hour drive home. We'll see if we can knock her out as quickly as possible from the pickup here. So, not driving a commercial vehicle makes it a little bit easier. Not so worried about, the speed or fuel economy. Just want to get home and sleep in my own bed and, hug my wife. This whole process started when I decided I was going to come here through the app, which they offer. For this conference, it's not always there. But if you're going to attend one of these professional conferences, the best thing to do is do some research before you get there. Look at who's going to be there. So prior to even coming here, I looked through the entire attendance list. I would Google each individual company because a lot of the people would have their company on it as well. I'd figure out if that company did work that might align with my network and my company, and then I'd write down the name, what their job titles were, if there were multiple representatives there, what I wanted to talk to them about, and that was my list. As I was going around, I was trying to find those people, to network with them, get them my information, get their information, and potentially grow the business. Now, in this case, because we're still coming off a downturn market, there wasn't as many true shippers there. There was a lot more carriers and brokers. Right now it's a shippers market. It still is. It's starting to turn, but shippers aren't having a problem finding trucks. That's why this year there was a lot of trucking companies here, because trucking companies are having problems finding shippers. But next year, if it flips, it might be the opposite way. There might not be as many trucking companies here because they're not looking for additional work. Whereas there might be an excess number of shipping companies because they're having a harder time sourcing that capacity. For this year, I was able to still identify about 10 individuals and companies that I haven't worked with that I want to work with. There's also some companies that were here that I have long established relationships with, but it's nice to see those people in person and say, hey, I'm Rob, nice to meet you. This is what I look like in person. The truly great thing about the bulk freight conference and bulk freight community in general
is it's actually a community. We're going to use the example of, I walked up, there was a representative for a fertilizer company there. Missy and Matt Demmel were right there, and they're 60 miles away from us. You'd think we were direct competition, and while there might be some things where our trucks are doing the same thing, their business model and what they handle is entirely different than mine. So we're talking to this fertilizer representative, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do the short stuff, out of the Twin Cities, more regional. I'm like, Demmel's, they're your other locations, your southern locations, your longer stuff. They love that stuff because that's what their business is, and my business is more, in this case, shorter. I can vouch for them, they can vouch for me. We both run good operations, and we're both in the same area doing the same things, but we can work together, and in front of a new customer that we're both trying to acquire, we can say positive things about each other and try to help build each other's businesses up. During this conference, I sat next to Dan Redding almost the entire time, and me and Dan, we converse via text message and phone calls pretty much every day now, bouncing ideas off each other, but also just sharing the struggles of running a trucking company, having employees, and also sharing little tidbits and little tips and tricks that have helped us over the years potentially. I want to share that with others and other carriers so that they can succeed. I mean, I'm not out here to steal their customers. They're not out here to steal mine. We're just out here to work together and try to make a living. It's still the fact that we can go to these conferences and there's people that'll take the time to talk to you about trucking, about how to grow your business and give you tips and tricks. So being able to ask them for their input of, hey, what do you think on this? And if they've already navigated that solution and have an answer, it can save me a significant amount of money versus trying to do it all on my own. And vice versa. The community in the bulk industry is just so supportive, and I really do like it. Now, there's obviously some bad apples, but they don't come to the conference, so that really doesn't matter at this point. My biggest takeaways from the conference this year actually had to do with talking with other trucking operations and specifically around where we could trim some fat off of our operation, run a little bit more lean, try to maximize our profit. Then also talking with other carriers. I want to get into potentially the wet feed business, hauling wet cake to cattle operations, utilizing our belts for that because we already have the equipment. But I don't know how to break into it, and I haven't really found anybody. So I was able to talk to carriers that down in Kansas, they do primarily wet feed. And I'm like, so who is actually paying you? Turns out it's not the producer. They're generally working directly for the farmer or a feed reseller or a third-party feed in a company, or even veterinary offices that are also doing the feed rations. The point is, I was able to save by just asking this guy, hey, who actually pays you to haul those loads? Who are you actually working for? That was an immense value. I did meet some new customers that might potentially lead to some additional work, and even talking to brokers. And we don't utilize brokers that much just because we also have an in-house brokerage. I try to get the business direct, but I still do. And sitting down with some of them at tables, there's still some opportunities that they have. It's always been, if I can get what I need and they can get what they need, then we're all good, and the customer gets what they need. We all win all the way through. In this case, they were talking to a customer that, quite honestly, it's a tough egg to crack. I haven't been able to get my foot in the door there for 2 years. I know exactly the lanes they're talking about, and they're the ones I want. If they're able to do that legwork and we're able to come to agreement where we're both making money on these lanes, even though I'm not technically direct, I'm getting it through a broker. Someone's taking a cut from it. That's fine as long as I'm still getting what I need. These conferences are good to network, but also just to learn things that might be in your blind spot. There was a maintenance guy up on stage from Love's talking about, most of these modern trucks, they're looking at 60,000 mile service intervals. Well, I'm still doing 25,000 mile service intervals on a lot of my equipment as far as changing the oil, which is a significantly higher amount than the 10,000 that my father did and was kind of instilled in me
when I first got into trucking. Then took that knowledge, I talked to a couple other fleet owners. They're like, yeah, no, we've gone up to the 75,000, 80,000 mile services that they say we can do. They've had a couple issues, so they've all backed them down usually to about 50,000. As I heard that knowledge firsthand from people that I know are within the industry doing the same thing, running kind of the same lanes, I immediately went through all my maintenance reminders in my e-log while I was sitting there at the conference, and I adjusted all of them. The knowledge there, I mean, that could potentially save me. Now, I knew it was there, I just lacked the confidence to do it until I talked to people that have actually done it. Just that knowledge and just, accepting it and going with it could potentially save me $20-some thousand a year. Now, the other side of this conference is, although a couple people did come out and say it directly to me, 2025 was a rough year. It was very apparent reading between the lines that every single one of us in that room, every trucking company was really feeling the pinch. So it's nice to know that, we're not on our own. The issues that we're facing, other companies are facing, and they're having to navigate through it. So, great opportunity. Appreciate all the publicity and opportunity that the conference gives me to be in the community and to talk with people and try to be the advocate for trucking operations and growing businesses. Getting up on stage, getting to share some insight, but being able to meet with others in the industry, because it really does seem, especially with all these videos that are being put out for these operations, I know something about the operation before I show up, and it really does feel like a community. So appreciate the good times. We'll try to blast these 8.5 hours home, get home, sleep in my own bed, see my family. Not nearly as fun this year as it was last year. Last year my wife came. It wasn't in the cards this year, but maybe next year she can come with. We make a little mini vacation out of it. Without her support, I wouldn't be where I am. So have a great day.